During the discard phase, the narcissist abandons his or her victim to convince the victim that he or she is worthless. This could range from leaving the victim for another lover, humiliating the victim in public, blatantly ignoring the partner for a long period of time, being physically aggressive, and a whole other range of other demeaning behaviors to communicate to the victim that he or she is no longer important. When they set you up for that grand finale, that discard that really sends you into the depths of depression. And a lot of us, it's a sense of despair that we've never experienced before in our lives. Some of us, it takes a long time to get over these people. At the time, I'm not sitting there going, oh, this is abusive. But I might see something they do and be like, that's shitty. But then I hit a certain point, and this is a pattern I've recognized. I hit a certain point where I'm not quiet anymore. And this is always step one for the end of the relationship. And what I've recognized is when I've dumped these people, and I'm talking like something that's dump worthy, okay? Like they cheated on me, right? You know, something like egregious, like something that would normally end a relationship. They beg you back. And they give you the whole, I made a mistake, and I see the error of my ways, and I was taking you for granted, and blah, 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 blah. But when I've taken them back, and I've given them another chance, they flipped it and completely discarded me. And it was really confusing for me, because I would be thinking that we overcame this thing that they did, and I set a boundary, and we had a better understanding, and I almost felt like it made our relationship stronger. I know that sounds really unhealthy, and I know that it is. Like the first big blow up, which was usually me ending the relationship for a legitimate reason, and them begging me back, and me taking them back, and then me feeling like, okay, we're in a better place now, because now all the stuff I've stayed quiet about came out, and they know that I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and they came back, so they must really care, right? But that's not what it is. So me believing that, you know, we came over this obstacle, we're back together, everything's out in the open now, we're moving forward, we're in a stronger place, we're closer now. And so then when they would do the discard, and it was usually like a big old grand finale, it was shocking to me, because it was the same guy that was begging and crying a week or two earlier. And I could never get my head around it. And what I've figured out is they never saw the error of their ways. They never realized how wonderful I was, and they were going to lose me, and all the bullshit that they would tell me. That was bullshit. They cannot be the one that is dumped. They have to do the discard. And it's all about the end of the relationship being within their control. When you end a relationship with these types, you're removing control from them, and that's all they care about. And you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, they really, really love me. All that they're doing is roping you back in so they can set you up for the big discard, because that's how they take control back. They never intend on that relationship continuing. When you stand up to them, they know it's over. It is over in their heads. You are no longer valuable supply. You've seen through the mask. You've asserted yourself. These types will never accept someone like that. And if they do, they're pretending, and it's for a short period of time, and it's because they're going to get control back, and they're going to flip it so that they're the one dumping you. That's all it is. It's all it is. What I realize now is that everything I did was like a normal reaction to stuff that he was doing. But this is how they keep us hooked. They spend the time that they're with us convincing us that when we have normal responses to things that they do, normal human reactions, normal human emotions, they convince us that when those things happen, there's something wrong with us. And then when they dump us or discard us, they point to those things as reasons for the discard. They make it all about our shortcomings. We aren't good enough for them. We aren't worthy. And as long as we're in that mindset, that pain is going to be there. You know, it took me a long time to get over the shame for the emotional reactions that I had until I realized, and my therapist told me, the emotional reactions that you had were totally normal, and he set you up to have those reactions. He took actions to cause that to happen so that he could point to those reactions to blame it on you when he dumped your ass. Now, I can't imagine doing that. So when this happens to us and we have no frame of reference, and this is something that we would never do and we could not conceive of doing, we couldn't even imagine that somebody would do this on purpose. It completely F's with our head. And we believe their narrative that it's all because of us. But people, that narrative is bullshit. It's all a big manipulation. Once you realize that, your entire perception of the relationship changes, and you go from feeling unworthy and abandoned and discarded and pained and hurt. You go from that to feeling fortunate. Because when you're in it, you're being gaslighted into thinking that your normal human emotional reactions are bad, they're wrong, and it's because of those things that you got dumped. No, it's not because of those things that you got dumped. You got dumped because you spotted what they were doing. You got dumped because you started to figure them out, and they knew it. And they knew it was a matter of time. They knew that the jig was up. It's up. They have to dump you before you dump them. It's all about control. And the control extends even beyond the end of the relationship because of the discard and how it makes us feel. It took me 2 years to get over this guy. 2 years. It was awful. And it wasn't until that shift occurred in my perception and I could objectively, with my therapist, look at what happened, that I finally started to sort of internalize what happened, what actually happened, not what he told me happened, not the way that he framed it, but what actually happened. And that's how I was able to get past the pain of that relationship.